Hello, everybody. This is Dale P. I'm here with George P. George P. is going to share his experience, strength, and hope with us. And if you're new to the channel, A Guiding Light 911, welcome. Please subscribe and include comments. We have basically, like I said, George is going to share his experience, strength and hope, and let's welcome George here to the panel. Okay, so George, so our audiences know, just give me a little bit of background of who you are, why I invited you on this channel. Go ahead.
Well, you might have been a little biased in inviting me to this channel, in that we are actually brothers. We grew up together, and apart most of the time because of our parents' separation and the dysfunctional family that we had from early on.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad to have you here. So I understand that you're clean and sober now.
Yes.
And how long have you been clean and sober?
8 years.
8 years, awesome.
December 31st, 2015.
And mine is 9/11 of 2019. So yeah, that's great. So, give me a little bit of background of what it was like when you were out there using, like how you started, maybe the progression, and what it was like when you were using, how it progressed, and what it was like kind of towards the end of your using.
Well, it all started when Les and I, our older brother, at that house in Tulare when I was a junior in high school, and it became a party house. Really, we both worked, and but anytime I had off work, I couldn't wait to drop some acid and smoke some pot and stuff like that. I loved the psychedelics. And I didn't get much into wine or beer or anything because I always got sick on it. So I was more of a just pot and psychedelics at first. And then Les would give me.
What year was this?
This was back in, it would be around 68 or so.
1968.
Yeah.
When drugs were really in its heyday.
Yeah, and there was a lot of psychedelics coming from Frisco, the acid.
Right.
And psilocybin and mescaline. I tried it all. I loved it.
Tuning in and dropping out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Yeah. Somehow I held down my job because I would only do it at home. I didn't want to be at work when I was dropping LSD or something.
Right.
It was too weird.
Yeah, right. I can imagine.
How many tops did you want? Yeah. See that again? I didn't want to go there. So
yeah,
that's where it all got started.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's how the reason I didn't get into alcohol much was because it always made me sick. Like I had 2 or 3 beers in it, or have one bottle of small wine. I was like throwing up or something.
Yeah.
It affected me so strongly. So that's where it got started, though.
Yeah.
And Les gave me a few of his diet pills, hand-me-down, to kind of give me incentive to help clean up the house or something. And I could do some cleaning when I ate one of those diet pills. And that's where I started realizing I really like amphetamine.
Right.
Because it kind of just went along with my already kind of like hyperactive.
Right. So were they diet pills or?
Yeah, they were diet pills.
And
Les would give me like 1 or 2.
So they were. It wasn't like speed or.
No, it was really clean.
Of course, back then they didn't have meth.
Yeah, I wasn't doing meth or anything. It was just the pills. The diet pills is where I got started.
But it wasn't speed. It was just over-the-counter diet pills.
It was an over-the-counter diet pill, which actually was a form of amphetamine.
Okay.
That's what they used back then.
Right.
And then those little crosstops, little barrel crosstops came around. I could get 10 of those for $1.
Right.
And I liked those. I would eat 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, I remember those in the 80s.
Yeah, so that's where I realized that was my drug of choice.
Right.
And they had, Mom and them had tried to get me on Ritalin early in life because I was so hyperactive.
Right.
And I took myself off of it. I ate it for about a week and realized, no,
Yeah,
too wide of ups and downs.
well, she did the same to me. She got me on Ritalin.
So I took myself off of it and just said, no, I'm not doing this.
So, okay, so, going on down the road, I mean, let's
Right.
say toward the middle of your using, what was it like?
Well,
Like, let's say when
I-
you were at your best, when you felt like, oh man, this is really what I want to do. I like this. I like this high. Whatever. What was that like?
that was after, I had gone clean about 6 months and just started working out and actually got off all the LSD stuff, all that. Didn't smoke pot or anything. Moved down with you guys down in Los Angeles for a
Right.
period. And I just went cold turkey, and then I went and joined the military, and it was perfect setup for the military because they loved you if you were in good shape. I was in the best shape I could be in.
Right.
Push-ups, pull-ups, any of that, running, I could do it all.
Right.
So I breezed through that. When I got out of the military, all I wanted to do was I would smoke a little bit of weed. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that progressed into the cocaine. I started, someone gave me some cocaine. It was really like pure. I mean,
Right.
now I know why they have those teeny little spoons in the teeny little bottle, because that's all you needed when it
Wow.
wasn't stepped on. One little thing, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, here I am making a couple $100 a week take home doing my job, like $10 an hour or something, and I was spending 100 of it easily on cocaine. So
Right. and you could probably buy a lot for $100 back then, huh?
it was a gram basically, but it was really good.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And I got the bad stuff too. I mean, people stepping on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that. And,
Yeah.
but I got lucky, and most of the time I was affiliated with people that didn't really step on it much.
Right.
So I loved it, and it became a real. I was a functional user for the longest time.
Right.
I mean, I could function. I held down the job.
Yeah. What kind of work were you doing then?
Well, then I was working at the factory, 6 hours a day, and I was working at and when I was only working at the company as a purchasing agent,
Right.
they were selling and servicing marine navigational equipment in the heart of the harbor, Wilmington.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
That's when I
that.
started studying electronics and stuff. I went
Right.
at night school and took all these courses in electronics and electrical stuff and all that.
Right.
I wanted to know what I was buying because they soon made me a purchasing agent.
Right.
But like I said, at the top of my game there, I was there for 3.5 years. I was still only making like $10 an hour. So I never made that much, you know what I mean? But with my little meager income, cocaine was part of it.
Yeah.
And then it got to where I was kind of like hungover when I came in on Mondays, if I came in.
Right.
And that's where it started being a problem. And then the job that I was, the factory job, because I was such a hard worker, they took me back and gave me work when I got let go of from not showing up and stuff at the purchasing agent thing.
Right.
So I always had a fallback on. But I think the thing that kept me going was I had a willingness to work.
Right.
That's what kept me going.
Right.
When I did work and I was there, I had so many people saying, "You're one of the hardest workers I've ever seen."
That's definitely a definition of functioning
That was
drug addict.
That's what I was for the longest time.
Yeah.
Until about the mid '80s, and that's where everything started. That's where the programs started coming in. My exposure to 12-step stuff.
Right.
I became unmanageable, just like the.
Right.
You realize the first step. You realize, and I realized that I was becoming. It was very evident.
Right.
That my life was becoming unmanageable.
So yeah. So in the end, then, say before you got cleaned up, what was it like? The dysfunctional part.
Well, it became a problem when I started getting arrested for. I think all of the times, like I said, I started getting exposed to the 12-step program and stuff like that. It was only because it was court ordered, and I didn't lie to him that at the time. Well, it had to do with me running around when I got on speed, and mind you, it was really clean stuff, powerful. Right. I would be up 2-3 days, and I kind of lost track of reality and judgment.
Right.
And next thing you know, here I am outside in the neighborhood, no pants on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't attacking anybody or doing anything in the middle of the night, but someone happened to see me, and that's where the indecent exposure thing started.
Right. So you were so out of it that you would just be chilling and
exactly.
Kicking back at home, and then
La La Land.
And then all of a sudden,
yeah. Then I find myself outside.
You come to, or the cops would be putting you in handcuffs or something. Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time they go.
Wow.
I was out in the front yard, and they pulled up the police, and they go, "What are you doing?" I go, "I don't know," but I always had a healthy respect for police and authorities.
Right.
So I was, of course, very compliant and stuff. And they said, "Where's your pants?" And I gave a total honest answer, which I always have with the police and stuff. I said, "I don't know." I had a t-shirt on, that was it.
Your guess is good as mine.
And they go, and he pushed me down. He goes, "Sit down." Then they took me to jail.
Wow.
That's when I got court ordered to go to meetings and stuff.
Right.
They asked me, they didn't have anything to do with drugs or anything. They didn't. I think they just thought I was crazy or something. They ordered psychiatric and that's when I had these sign-in cards to go to 12-step meetings.
Right. Okay.
Which started rubbing off on me because of our upbringing in Christian Science and stuff like that. I was very open to this higher power thing, God.
Right.
So
so that's crazy, man. And I mean, to be so out of it like that, and I mean, that's definitely the drugs taking over.
They did.
And controlling your life, and you're at a point where you have no control because if you were clean and sober, you wouldn't be doing it.
There's no way. I didn't even think of it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to take a break, everybody, and we're going to come back with George P. and. Hello, everybody. We're back here. My name's Dale P. and this is George P. And let's welcome George back here.
Thank you.
So where we left off was George was sharing his story about his drug use, and specifically we're talking about towards the end of his using. And so the next question then I have is, okay, so what happened that made you, seek help or get clean and sober?
Well, I just got tired of the rigmarole that went along with.
I mean, you mentioned that you got court ordered.
Yeah.
So it got to the point I take it you're arrested, and so the courts ordered you, to go to AA or NA. So what happened there? I mean, what was that like?
On the second exposure thing, because I was kind of like on a roll, and I was getting this, like I said, like a P2P, 2-propanol type, really clean speed.
Mm-hmm.
It really, I was like out there.
Wow.
And I immediately almost wanted to take off my clothes immediately on doing it. So that's how that all got started. I got ordered on the second one because they gave me a week. I think they gave me a week. It's hard to, this is so far long ago, mid-'80s,
Right.
that it's hard to pin down exactly how long it goes. I just saved it in my record.
Right.
And I asked the court, well, my public defender said, can he go into this program instead of doing the week?
Right.
And so I decided, they said, sure, yeah, whatever will help you out. Good.
Right.
So I had this thing set up to where I could go down to this VA program. It was like a boot camp. I went down there, down in LA, and it was like being in boot camp. I mean, boot camp. You know how like in an AA, your free will, you can work the steps or not work the steps, but of course it's highly recommended. You definitely should work the steps because they work if you work it.
Right.
It was like, you will do that.
Right.
Yeah, and I said, oh, no. I lasted like a day or two. And I said, no, I'll go do my week in jail or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so I left. I had the freedom to go. Had I not had the freedom to go, like if you're in the military, you can't go anywhere. You're AWOL,
Right.
you're going to the grave.
Right.
Well, I had the freedom to either be there or not. So I wrote him a little note and said, bye, I'm gone. So I came back and I did weekend at Bob Wiley's.
Right.
Painting curves, almost every curve in that fairground over there. Felt like I almost painted or something. But anyway, that was, and then they gave me one of the times, and I can't remember exactly how long, but they gave me that sign-in card. So that was, like I said, that really got my exposure to the 12-step thing. But I only did it because I was ordered to do it.
Right. Right.
I did not want to be at those meetings. In fact, I was hoping I could find someone that if I could go to the end of the meeting and just have it signed, I would.
Yeah.
But they had too much integrity for that. So that never came about. But I was hoping that was available or something. Because I saw people walk in late when I was at the meeting.
Yeah.
And they were asking them to sign it and stuff. And I noticed that now it's a no-go. Not where I was anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I finally, I got that job back down in Los Angeles, and John, who was the manager down there, he was the chief manager of manufacturing. He said, "We'll hire you back. We got a lot of work on the submarines right now. We're doing parts for the Seawolf program. We'll give you 12 hours a day, but you cannot do drugs. If you do drugs, you're gone." And I was able to function doing that.
Right.
I didn't have time to get messed up. But when they laid me off after a year and a half of straight, like 12-hour days and stuff, I saved up some money and stuff. Next thing you know, I was laid off. I took a voluntary layoff, and then I started doing drugs again because I had the freedom to do it.
Right.
And it was speed. It's
Yeah.
all speed. They say in the program, if you know what your drug of choice is, if you had a pile, a mountain of heroin, or a mountain of speed, or a case of beer, which one would you go to? And
Right.
it was an easy decision for me. It would have been speed.
Okay, so you had a relapse.
Yes.
Went back to using. So
Yeah.
So what happened the second time around then that made you want to get clean again?
Well, again, it was like court ordered. I finally, because I tried to start my own little handyman business. I wasn't very good at it. I would take on things I didn't even know how to do, but I would see it and I go, yeah, I can do that. And so I made some mistakes, and I'll tell you one thing about being a handyman: you make one mistake, you're done. Yeah. So I wasn't
Low tolerance level.
Yeah, very low tolerance, and I made some mistakes, because I was learning as I went along.
Yeah.
But so I finally fell apart after about 3 years. I wasn't making enough, and whatever, and I was doing the speed, and
Right.
so mom basically came up and grabbed me from Long Beach and gave me a place to stay back up here.
Right.
And then I went. It's hard to remember exactly the cycle, but somehow I got back into doing some speed up here, and this time I got arrested for being. I was over. Mom would not tolerate it at the house,
Right.
and so I would go to and I was still working, doing handyman stuff or whatever,
Right.
or tent jobs. I would go over to a hotel, rent a room, and I was on the 3rd floor one day over in Tulare right there at those set of motels and stuff that are right there at Prosperity and the freeway. There's a bunch of them there. I was in the 3rd floor. I got so paranoid that I pushed out the screen and I was ready to jump out. 3rd floor, it was high.
Oh wow.
I was ready to jump out if the people came through the door that I thought was after me or something.
Wow.
I was that paranoid. And someone saw me push the screen out, called the cops. And then the cops came and knocked on the door again. My good rapport or let's say respect.
Right.
Like a lot of people are afraid of the cops. And they don't want it. But I've always had just a natural respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came and said it was the police, I immediately opened up the door.
Yeah.
They go, what's going on? Why is the window? And
Right.
I go, and they said, are you high on drugs? And I told them the truth. I said, yeah. They said, well, we're going to have to arrest you.
Yeah.
And so that's when I got my first under the influence charge.
Okay.
And then I did it again, but this time, but not that same thing, scenario.
Right.
But somehow, and I don't even remember, I haven't thought it through that much, but I got another one while I was waiting to go to court on the other one.
Uh-huh.
So I had 2 of them. That's where I got ordered 3 months on each one.
Yeah.
And you will go into a residential program. That's how I ended up at Pine.
I see.
And Pine was a very good experience. Very good experience.
Yeah.
But that was, again, it was court ordered. I would have
Right.
never been there.
And how long did you stay there?
6 months.
6 months. So wow.
And it rubbed off on me.
Yeah. So 6 months, clean and sober,
Yeah.
in a program. Wow. So you had a good foundation under you that they helped you lay down.
You know, the way I
Right.
said, yeah, because it was a part of everyday life for so long that it was a very good. You can't help it. Those steps, you work those steps and stuff. It can't help but make you a better person. Even if you relapse right after it, you're still going to be benefited in some really big way.
Yeah. What step do you think was most say beneficial? The one that you really saw. Wow, this step has really helped me Which one do you think helped you the most?
I think realizing that my life had become unmanageable.
Or the first step?
Because I think until you're willing to realize that and willing to admit it,
Right.
that you got a problem. That I think right there from the very first step, just being willing to admit that, humbling myself.
We were powerless over our addiction.
Really,
our lives become unmanageable.
I'm ready to, turn it over to God or whoever the higher power is.
Right, and then step two,
to
believe the power greater than self restores sanity.
Exactly.
So steps 1 and 2.
Yeah, steps 1 and 2, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That was what really hit a home run for me.
Right.
And got me in the mindset that, like that you're not all that. In other words, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
You're not all that. You need some help.
And you don't have it all under control like you think you do.
Right.
Or like you think you're leading other people to believe.
Right. Which I would really try to do, of course.
Yeah, and I can relate to the, getting in trouble and then getting in trouble before I even go to court the next time.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
They go, oh, we see you have another one here. Oh.
Right. Yeah. So that's great. I mean, it sounds like the recovery center really helped you out a lot.
Well, it really rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
It became a part of life almost.
Right. And so you're able to take what you learned in there, apply it to your life outside there and after the program. So tell us a little bit about what that was like.
What the getting in the actual program?
No, after
right afterwards.
Yeah.
I relapsed right afterwards.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long did that relapse last?
Not very long, because I was already had realized I couldn't wait to get out of there so I could use it again.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I was still at that stage.
Still had in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different next time.
It's gonna be different next time.
So.
Right.
So
not very long. So say 30 days or?
No, it was right after.
A couple weeks. No, I mean, how long did your relapse last?
Not that long, because I was so used to being straight.
Yeah.
I actually realized I liked being straight.
There you go.
I started liking it.
Yeah.
I go, you know what? I could see doing this. Staying like this.
And so really the relapse kind of helped you see that, wow, this is not what I want to do. I'd rather be clean and sober.
Right. So I started picking up courses at Steel West and went back and because you were into computers, you kind of got me the incentive. I want to learn everything I can about computers. Right. So I took almost every course they had over there, and that kept me busy and stuff. Right.
So I understand you got your associate degree?
I got an associate degree, but I had that back in '85.
Okay.
And I had data processing. I actually studied the computers. I took basic COBOL, Fortran programming languages, and took trigonometry and first calculus, and you had to have that to do the Fortran.
Right.
And then also the hardware for computers. Right. Which were very basic at the time.
Yeah. This is in the 80s, or
this was in the 80s, but it was so I got an associate degree, and nobody ever even considers an associate degree a true degree. I can tell you that.
I wouldn't say that. That's an accomplishment. I mean,
associate with emphasis.
Don't
data
play
processing.
It down.
Yeah, but when you're in an interview, it's like, why didn't you go further? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but that's when I first got exposed to the computers. That was before the internet or any of that. Right. And the mainframe at COS only had the 32 bits per byte. It was only 32-bit processor. That was thing running the whole college. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So not to get off track or anything, but that's what got me interested in going back into computers, because I always was enamored with the technology, and especially having you being a programmer.
Right.
I thought, oh, cool. I couldn't wait to call you when I passed the Cisco test on the first one. And I'll never forget what you said. I said, Dale, I passed the Cisco test on my first try. And you go, so what? That was so humbling. I went from had like a blown up balloon, like, wow, man, I did this.
Sorry about that. I don't remember.
While I did this, and then my balloon went to. Wow. But that was your exact response. So what? I was keeping myself busy, you know what I mean? But I was still wanting to do the drugs.
Right, but you were on the path to recovery.
Yeah, and I would say the Pine thing finally rubbed off on me, because it was such an exposure to it. And I so admired the people I was around.
Right. So what was it like then after your relapse, and realizing that, hey, clean and sober, is really what I want to do. What was life like?
It was nice. I actually went, when Mom passed away, I had 3.5 years of clean. I went over to a meeting that I was going once a week, and just to still be affiliated with it.
Right.
Because I always loved it, because like I said, I was so open to the whole 12-step thing. I saw it as just the perfect thing. Addicts helping other addicts, or the alcoholics helping other alcoholics. And then the spiritual nature of what it puts into your life, that admitting you're wrong right away, and doing just the moral values that go along with working those steps. It just became ingrained in me. So it like I said, it started becoming a way of life. I knew when I got clean that one of the things you had to do was stay away from other people that were using.
Right.
And so, they taught you that in the program. So I used all those techniques. Anybody that I knew was using or drinking or anything, I stayed away from them.
Yeah.
So
that's real important.
But I was already wanting to be clean before Mom passed. And she was having such a hard time with health and everything, and I wanted to be there for her.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it when I was still using drugs and stuff. She was depending on me. I was depending on her too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For roof over my head and stuff.
Right.
And so I still wasn't that good at handyman things, but that was the only thing I could find a job in. Was people that knew me were willing to use me and stuff. But if I went to interviews and I got some indecent exposure charges and stuff, the interview's over.
Yeah.
So I'd have to lie about it to be able to get a corporate job anywhere.
Right.
So the handyman was really my only fallback thing.
Right.
So
being clean and sober helped you in your handyman business, I take it.
Oh yeah. But still, I was still learning. It's taken until now. I retired back in 2014, I think, or so. Mm-hmm. But on a mediocre, I never made a lot of big wages, even though I was working a lot. Mm-hmm. So my Social Security retirement income, I retired at 62. I still had to have to supplement it with handyman stuff, whatever, little odd jobs.
Right.
What's funny about that is that and being straight, of course, is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel I'm never have hangovers or anything. You know what I mean?
And your thinking is
it's clear. Yeah. So but I'm just now really coming to where I'm recognized that I kind of know what I'm doing about a few things.
Right.
But now my body's giving up on me.
Yeah.
my mind said, yes, you can do this. And my body said, oh, heck no.
Man, doesn't that suck?
So I relapsed right after Mom
Okay.
passed. That was just, I was devastated.
Yeah.
She was my really only true friend that I had in life.
Yeah.
That I could say was just always there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Always, no judgment, no nothing.
Right.
And so I was devastated. So I relapsed and I went on a run for a while. And then I decided, well, December 31st of 2015, and I had, like I said, about 3.5 years, or 3 years. Before that, 3.5 was like a magic number or something.
Mm-hmm.
Before that,
Yeah.
and then I finally got, that was it. I just, no looking back, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was
That's
it.
great. That's great. And yeah, so that's a good long time to have under your belt.
Right.
You know, clean and sober and living life on life's terms.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back to like stay in touch with any meetings or?
Well, it's like I was telling Steve.
Yeah.
Visalia even though it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Being over in Tulare, it's almost like it's a distance that
Right.
you just that I didn't want
Yeah.
to take.
But I mean, if you had the opportunity to go back there, I mean.
Oh, had
just-
they been had a place in here, over there in Tulare?
Yeah.
I would have loved to hang out with
Yeah.
him and stuff. But just the fact that I had to drive over
Right.
and just to go over there, and I don't know. And then the fact that I relapsed right after I got out of there, I'm such an honest. I've always been like an honest person,
Right.
and I hope it's just like. I reach a point where I go, God, I hope someone doesn't ask me because there's no way I can lie about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I kind of stayed away.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
That's like me. I'm a terrible liar.
There was such you got to have a good memory and to be a liar.
Yeah.
Well, I took basically somewhere along the line. It was part of working with steps and stuff.
Right.
That I decided that rigorous honesty was the way to go.
Yeah.
I did. It's like building a foundation of what you're truly about.
Right.
And where lies, you have no foundation
Right.
if it's based on lies. So I gave myself I took an oath to myself of rigorous honesty.
Right. How about any literature? Do you ever like you have a book at home? You ever?
Well, I read your workbook and I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
There you go.
That's amazing. Your workbook. I like the way had I had that back when I was working the steps, and I had those little insights that you put into it, and
thank
had
you.
that nice, plenty of
The
room
outline
to make comments, and
He's talking about the 12-step guide workbook
exactly.
by a guy tonight.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
Really nice layout.
we're definitely gonna give you an opportunity to see where you can get this a guiding light, the book, and I might even throw an ad or commercial into this interview. So, man, it's really great to see you clean and sober. I knew you back then.
In my recent days.
And to know you now, it's like night and day, man. It's a big difference. So, really, thank you for, being an instrument for other people's growth and other people getting in and getting help and being on the show. And I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time on A Guiding Light 911.